I'm on a quest to find music and art. Supporting local talent is the place I start. Yeah, this is our culture, the place to be. Games, books, arts and crafts and jewelry. This the guardians of the geekery. 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 And now for today's episode of Guardians of the Geekery with your hosts, Matt, Carol, and Joey.
Into the Geekery, celebrating the Geekery market and all of the fine folks who are involved with it, including William Tracy. Welcome back.
Hello, glad to be here again.
You're an author, you're a publisher. I love that you go by science fantasy because I think a lot of people just choose, science fiction or fantasy, but that definitely represents you and your cavalcade of authors and titles that you including one with an ostrich, which looks super cool.
yes I will have that one at the market this year. That was one that it came out after last year's market, but I picked science fantasy in particular because a lot of what I write is science fantasy, straight in the middle, magic with aliens, fun stuff like that.
And your website is really grown and to reflect how you've grown, it looks like.
In fact, I may have been new since last year because I got an update. Actually started working with a designer, got an update on the new website, so it's much slicker, much easier to add new books because we're putting out about a book a month. So yeah.
How many titles do you have currently?
We have about 40 right now, and I am just about to run in June. We run a campaign every year, so just about to start that up this June for the next 12 books that are coming out. So we'll have 4 or 5 of those for the market this year.
Awesome. So in case we didn't say it, William or Bill, you're not just a writer, you're also a publisher. So, and it is Space Wizard Publishing Company, right? Did I get it right? Space Wizard.
It's fantasy.
3. Woo!
Yeah.
So, and this past year was your first market, is that correct?
Yes.
That was your first, right?
Yeah, that was my first time.
We see each other, Carol and you and I see each other in North Carolinas and all the other places, so it's hard sometimes. But yeah, it was your first time getting to be part of it all, and so we were excited to have you, and definitely excited to have you back. Mm-hmm. So talk to us a little bit about some of the things that you enjoyed about last year's market, and why people should come and find you while they're there. And then maybe we could talk about some of the new books that you'll have coming.
Yeah, definitely. I was really excited to be there. We've had a conflict in years past, so I wasn't able to come, but opened up, and I actually really enjoyed this market. It's a nice space. There's lots of room, and it has a really nice layout. And obviously we see some of the same people here and there. But it had a great selection of vendors. And it looked like you did a really good job with, there's books, there was crafts, candles, tea, clothes, all sorts of different cool stuff. So it was a lot of fun, and we had really good traffic too. So it was nice to be there. Even with all the other books there, we still sold a whole bunch, got a lot of people interested. So yeah, definitely worth it. Very nice market. Yeah.
You're coming back, so we did something right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, we will say it will be a little bit different. If you came to the venue last year, we had an author's alley, and we realized, first of all, you guys like to do a lot of sword fighting in the middle of the aisle, so we decided we had to split up the noisy boys. But but also too, it's somebody who loves books, they would go down that aisle and their pockets would be empty, and that leaves them not to go see the rest of it. So I think by spreading it apart, it gives everybody a chance to not be so overwhelmed by, I must have all the books, to be able to kind of look at the books individually and get a little bit of each. So I think that will be a slightly better arrangement. And we added like 2 little half rows where so me, I'm like, I hate turning people down, let me just get 2 more rows out of this situation.
Well, the good thing is there's a lot of room in that location, so you can I think you definitely still have room to grow.
Yeah, plus
Um,
we have the
Indeed.
second half if we get to that point.
oh yeah, great. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's a great idea to separate the authors a little bit. I've been in different conventions where people like to have them together, others people like to have them separate, and I still haven't got enough data on it, but I think maybe having them separate is different because then you get people running around excited. Oh, I need to find my author over here, and then they
Yeah.
see other stuff along the way. And
Well, I think at a con, like sometimes when you're going to be there for 3 days, having all the booksellers together is great because you can kind of go and do your book roving and stuff. But when you're at a market, which is a 1 day event, you kind of want to make sure that people get to see everybody and not get blurry, blurry eyes
right.
with like all the books. So,
Yeah.
speaking
So
of
what
which, yeah, go ahead, Carol.
what's your favorite book that you've published in between the markets? Which one are you looking forward to pushing at the market this year?
Oh, let's see. Well, I can always say one of mine, but I'm gonna be generous and not say one of mine. Um,
What of each?
one of each. Yeah, okay. So we've got a couple new cool books coming out. Actually, I'm just gonna focus on the ones that are coming out from now until then. Because like I said, the campaign's running in June. We're gonna start publishing. July is the first one. Some cool stuff, and I may have a copy of this. This maybe not. We're actually putting out 2 RPG manuals
Ooh.
with this campaign. One is based on my Dissolution Verse series, which is space opera with music-based magic. And so you could play as somebody who can manipulate the symphony of the universe and change notes and change reality. And it's got a really cool spell crafting system where you can sort of create spells on the fly. So that one's coming out. I'm excited about that. I'm working on that. And then the other RPG that's coming out is connected to one of the books that's coming out too, which is called Empress of Dust. And this is a more sci-fi. It's still science fantasy, but it's post-apocalyptic with giant crab monsters and scavengers. And you could play as the scavengers, you could play as the crab monsters. They actually have different die sets that you use. So that one's really cool as well. Completely different setting, completely different campaign. So we'll actually have some chances in the campaign that you can get you can get a seat for a one shot or for a 6 campaign or six episode campaign with the designer, me or the other author,
Oh,
to play with us. So that's
That's
part of
cool.
that's part of the
really
Yeah.
campaign this year. So we may have one of our books by the market. I'm really hoping to. If nothing else, we'll have pre-orders for when those come out.
Good.
So
That would be cool. We'll have to make sure we set you by some dice people so they can immediately feed their addiction, buy the RPG, grab some dice, go. And I know you
yeah,
also do your honey stuff as well. I don't know if
yes.
you saw our email, our post about the hive we had in our house
Oh yeah.
last year.
Those are always fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
did
think
Um,
I
not
asked
keep
you
honey
this.
from that though.
no.
So
Yeah, I may have asked this before, but are you the beekeeper or do you get your honey sourced elsewhere?
No, we keep
You
bees.
keep
We
the bees?
have I have gone up to 4 hives this
Ooh.
year. So we had like I'm gonna say 1.5 that survived over the end of the year. Ones I've had to sort of nurture a lot. So we got 1 hive that's pretty set, and then one that's sort of limping along. It's getting better, and then 2 completely new ones from swarms I caught this year. So we're not getting a whole lot in terms of honey this year, but I'm hoping to set up and get some really nice setup for next year. Eventually, we will sell some honey whenever we actually get enough to sell, along with feeding our tea addiction. So,
Yeah, that I
but
know very, very well.
yeah,
I have a tea addiction myself, although I don't honey it. It's
yeah,
mine.
that's the reason we started beekeeping. Is like, well, we can buy all this honey, or we can have our bees make it ourselves. Yeah.
and
I've always been curious about beekeeping, but I've never been stung by a bee. So I would hate to like start something and then realize I was allergic to bees.
You can get tested for that. My wife
Oh,
actually had the same issue that she wanted to do it, but was her grandfather was potentially allergic, but got a test, found out she wasn't allergic.
oh,
And
that's
I have
interesting.
I found out since then that if you are not allergic to bees, you will never become allergic to bees. And if you are allergic to bees, you will never not
No.
become allergic. So, so if you're good, you're good forever.
Interesting.
So yeah.
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
we
I
have-
interrupted you last time. Joey, did you have a question?
Oh no, I'll talk the whole time if I'm allowed to. So it's always better for you just to interrupt if you've got something to say.
I will say, even if you're not allergic to bees, though, when we had the beekeeper come out to get our 10,000 plus hive,
Yeah.
I got stung on the top of the head, and it still hurt. I wasn't allergic, but ow,
Yeah.
that really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hurts.
I
Yeah.
went back out, but it was, I mean, he started with like no protection, and then he would get stung, and well, I'll put on the gloves. Okay, well, I'll put on the hat. Then he had to suit up into the thing. So
Yeah. Generally better just to get suited up before you start.
Yeah.
that would be my thought.
Yeah. Well, also
Yeah.
because when they sting you, it actually releases a pheromone that attracts
They're
more
attracted
to
to
sting
you.
you. So better just to not do it to start with.
So do any of your books talk about bees as part of the sci-fi
Yes,
or the
actually.
sci-fantasy? Yeah.
Actually. So this is one I think I had the first two books out last year. But I have the third one. So this is my new hard sci-fi trilogy. See if I can get these to actually show up. Nope,
You all
everything went away.
disappeared.
Everything disappeared. It was a magic trick. Okay,
It was
so
magic.
the Mycelium and Men of Mycelium
Oh,
and
there
Men
we
is
go.
the first one.
Oh.
It is about a generational fleet of ships that lands on a planet covered with sentient fungus.
I
And
remember, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they don't know that the fungus is sentient. They're trying to build a colony. So anyway, I have see if I can get them without disappearing. But I have the second one, To a Fungus Unknown, and then the third one is now out, which is of course The Spores of Wrath.
I love the
So,
titles.
there's actually one of the characters is a beekeeper in there, and furthermore, the fungus might end up co-opting some bees. So there's they're actually a plot device in the book.
Oh.
That's cool.
I have to tell you, I'm nearsighted, and as I was looking at the website earlier, I was like, "The Spores of Wrath." I was like, "Oh, cool title," but then I was reading the byline. It was "Decide the Fate," and I read it as "Decide the Fate of Linda," and I'm like, "Who is Linda? What is happening with Linda?" I remember the fungus from before. Is this a new sentient fungus? Or,
Linda the fungus, yeah.
it is. That's a typo on my part. That's
Yeah.
Well, what is the correct one?
It's Leda, actually. Yeah, it's the name of the
I'm
planet.
like, we're gonna be wandering around going, well, who is it? If it's
What
not
is it?
Linda,
Yeah.
like,
At least it wasn't Linda. It wasn't Karen.
Linda.
We're okay.
Yeah, the name actually came from a source in the book that I had them originally titling they went to a solar system and it was the 11th solar system. So then they named the sun 11, and then one of the characters shortened it to Lev, and then they have 11A, 11B, 11D. So Leda is 11D,
Ah,
LD.
Oh, cool.
good.
Yeah.
Very clever. I'm sure it must, after a while, you're like, I have to come up with a name I haven't used before. Have I used that name before?
Yeah, actually, funnily enough, if you where is this? There are actually two cities named the same in two completely different books of mine. Because
Oh.
accidentally I named it the same, and it's not a common name. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but
You
if
have
you
to
read-
now buy all of his books
you have
to
to buy all
figure
the
out
books.
which
See
ones.
what the city name is.
Yep.
And then
There's-
come to him and say, is this a crossover universe?
Yeah. Yeah, it was because I thought it was a really cool name and I used it in one series, and then I wrote the other one and I was like, oh, this is a really cool name. Used it again.
It's like Springfield, right? Like there's way too many Springfields in the US. It is. So
So what's the hardest part about being a publisher?
Herding cats. Because now
Your
they're not
author's cats.
well, yes. Now I have to not only keep to my own schedule and write my own books, but also do developmental editing for all the books that are coming in and make sure everything is timed right and answer author questions about what they're releasing, and good legitimate questions. But just now I'm up to like 11 or 12 or more authors, so I now have like author questions coming in every couple days and have to actually answer them. So yeah,
Oh no,
it's
suddenly you're a professional.
yeah, it's strange how that happens. Yeah, that was when I was working at Caterpillar, that was the consensus was if you are doing something for 5 years, now you're an expert. Or also, if you're the only one left, now you're the expert. So,
Oh, I know that one from my job.
mhm.
Yeah, I wish it was years. I wish it was years. Some of the
Yeah.
jobs that I've worked, it's like, oh, you made it to day 3. You're the expert now. Train everybody else. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, well, tell us just a little bit about your books, because I know you were focused on the ones in the Kickstarter, but
Yeah.
you are allowed to promote your own book. I know you're a publisher, but you are an author as well.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to read a one-off book of yours, or if somebody wanted to start a series, what one-off should they start with? And then what series maybe would, be a good introduction to the world of William Tracy?
Yeah. So for the one-off, actually, I only have one standalone published book, which is that one right here, Fruits of the Gods. And this one is a world with seasonal fruit-based magic. So each season
Ooh.
of the year is a different type of magic. And it's epic fantasy. It's a standalone, so you can read it one and done. That one sells really well. We've got a new cover. This is the new cover for it too, which is amazing. The old cover was good. This one's even better. That one's always popular, so I will definitely have some of those at the market. I had some last year. That always sells well. And I'm actually really excited about my new series that I'm starting, because I just finished the one with the fungus. So that was a 3-book hard sci-fi series. If you like hard sci-fi, that's a good one. A lot of people like the titles and buy those. Um, and I will have that one in omnibus format
Oh, cool.
for a hardcover omnibus for the market. So that'll be a new one if you want to pick that up, all 3 books at once. You can do that and get the whole series.
And if they wanted to make sure that it didn't sell out before they got there, they could probably go online and pre-order it from you. Would that be
They could
accurate?
pre-order it. That's going to be available after the campaign.
Okay.
So that's going to be one of the features of the campaign this year. So after June, that one's going to be available, but not before June.
So tell us your website where they could go and find out about the campaign and the different books and
Yeah.
find out who Linda is and all that good stuff.
Yeah, just go to spacewizardsciencefantasy.com, which is that. You'll know it because of the flying space hat. Yeah, spacewizardsciencefantasy.com. You can also go to williamctracy.com, and that will redirect you there. So if you remember my name or the company, either one will get you where you're going. And that has all the books listed. It also has all my coming soon books. So if you go to the listing of books, there's a little caption up at the top that says, "Look at new books coming out." So not all of them have covers. We're still designing some of them, but I have a list of it's actually 13 books coming out between this June and next June, along with 2
Wow.
RPGs. So we're going to be
Wow.
busy.
Yeah.
And my new series is going to start. This is going to be probably an 8-book series, something like that. This is progression fantasy. If you're familiar with that, basically characters get more powerful, fighting new enemies and stuff like that. But this one is about people with martial arts based magic. So they can move and they generate magic by how they position their bodies and how they sort of do martial arts. But they're on an island, or they're on a world where islands move like 400 times faster than they do in our world. So like tectonic plates and how the continents shift and change.
Oh, wow.
So it's like that except sped up. So you can actually see, the island approaching yours, and it's going to crash together, in the next year. So they have to deal with like mountains raising up under them, and so there's a lot of cool stuff in that book. And that's just the start. That's going to be out. That should be out for the market. so you can get the first one. And then, like I said, I'm gonna keep on going with this one, so you'll see the characters become more and more powerful and explore more of the world and do more cool stuff in further years.
Wow. Final questions, thoughts, statements?
I just wanted to say that the past couple of days I've been doing Pilates. So for the entire podcast, I've been staring at how to operate your body, your legs. And I'm like, I need that.
I was waiting for somebody to say that. I actually have and I'll try not to disappear again. I actually have the book with me. Yes, so you found it.
They're not working right now.
No, you found the nonfiction. So I also teach martial arts and I'm trained in engineering. So this is my nonfiction that's coming from those two and sort of biomechanics and putting that together. And that goes over pictures. It has pictures of me doing stuff and showing you how to do it. It's stretching and flexibility and posture and how to move. And then the back half of the book is breaking down walking and pacing and how to move so you move more efficiently and you're less tired when you move.
I actually do need that book.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that one there's going to be 3 of those altogether. The next one is in the campaign this year called How to Operate Your Body, the Arms. So that's the next one that's coming, in which we find out how our shoulders work.
Or don't.
Yeah, or don't.
Well, Bill, it's always great to see you, whether we're out and about at a convention, or also, this is your second time on the podcast with us, and we look forward to seeing you in November for sure and checking out all your books. And remember, if there's a specific book of Bill's or of the publishing companies that you're interested in, the only way to make sure that you can grab a copy before it sells out is to pre-order. So make sure you go to his website, check it out, place your order. And then that way, it can be like Christmas. You just walk down the aisles and pick up your orders left and right. And then you can go and see what other cool stuff is there.
Yeah. And I'll add one more thing to that. You can also back the campaign we have in June.
Right.
That's also a really good way to pre-order. If you do that, if the book's out, let me know that you backed it in the campaign and I'll cross-check that and give you the books that are out at the show. So go check out the campaign as well, back that, and you can get even more books.
Sweet.
All right. Well, once again, see Bill and all of the great authors that he works with at Space Wizard by coming to our event on Saturday, November 9th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Cabarrus Events Center. We are the middle building. Look for the inflatables. And make sure that you go to geekerymarket.com to see links to his page, to be able to watch this video again, and just be able to do all the fun stuff. And we will see you there. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
That was an episode of Guardians of the Geekery. Thank you for listening. Check us out at guardiansofthegeekery.com and stay tuned for more content.